Thank you for joining the live streaming session today. I'm Aditya, and I'll be hosting this session as a part of the Google Partners Program. This session is about advanced Google Analytics, where we shall be covering e-commerce tracking and enhanced e-commerce tracking. Yesterday, we had a basic session, so this is a follow-up session to that. A few housekeeping rules to keep in mind. Please make sure that the video quality is at least set to 360p so that you can view the presentation clearly. Also, if you need to change this, you can use the icon at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Lastly, but importantly, please use the comment section below to post live questions. Let's begin. E-commerce tracking. Most websites sell something, and we've had enough and more questions from advertisers as to how can we track product sales, what is purchased, how much is it purchased for, etc. So under this section, we'll see the overview of e-commerce tracking, how to enable it and how to set it up. Then we'll take a look at what kind of transaction level data can you collect. Thirdly, what kind of item level data can you collect? What are the most important reports under e-commerce tracking? And what are the major learnings that we can have? Now, starting with what exactly is e-commerce tracking? These reports allow you to analyze purchase activity on your website or your mobile application. You can see product, transaction, order value, conversion rate. Everything with respect to an e-commerce is what you get in these reports. Now, how do we kind of go about enabling e-commerce tracking and installing this particular code on the website? To enable e-commerce tracking in reports, open your analytics account, open the desired property in view. In the view column, you have to select e-commerce settings and enable the e-commerce toggle as on. Once you've done that, you can click on next and submit. Let me just quickly show you a demo as to how this is done. Inside my analytics account, I'm going to the admin panel. Under the view column, I'm opening e-commerce settings and ensuring that I have the enable e-commerce option on here. You can click on next step. You can also enable enhanced e-commerce, which we'll be covering in the later half of this section, and hit done. That's all you need to do to set up e-commerce tracking on the analytics end. Now, once that we've set up e-commerce tracking in the analytics account, we'll now see what kind of code implementation is required to set it up on the website and what does this code exactly mean. So there are two aspects to an e-commerce code. One on the left, which is the transaction level code. One on the right, which is the item level code. Now, I understand that this code seems obscure right now. So let us go through in detail what each of these variables inside the code mean. Now, like I said, e-commerce tracking can be divided into item level data and transaction level data. So beginning with what the transaction level code contains. Firstly, you can see it contains the transaction ID. That ID is a requirement to be caught by the code for transmission of data between your website and the analytics server. This transaction ID is set by you and can be anything. Ideally, we suggest having alphanumeric digits, but just plain numeric digits do as well. Second is the affiliation ID. If you have multiple stores or multiple affiliate stores on which this transaction can take place, you can have an ID to identify each of these affiliations from each other. Third, we have revenue. Now, this specifies the total revenue or the entire amount that is associated with this transaction. You may decide to include shipping, tax, and any other kind of cost adjustments in this revenue variable. So we capture the ID, we capture the affiliation, we capture the revenue. After this, under the transaction level code, we can also capture shipping. what was the total shipping cost of this transaction, and tax, what was the total tax that was applied to this amount. So this is the first part of e-commerce tracking, which is the transaction section. The second part would now be the item section of the code. Now, under the item section, we again necessarily capture the transaction ID. Why is that done? Because under a transaction, there could be multiple products. Hence, to associate multiple different products with a single transaction, each of those products will have a transaction ID value of their own when the code is being passed to the servers. And that is necessarily required to be collected. Another requirement for item level data is name of the product. It can be anything that is set on your website, and it is always collected and is visible in e-commerce reports. So after transaction IDs and after the product name, we can capture SKU, which is the stock keeping unit, or the item code. This again will be alphanumeric in nature. So you can set it to any value that you want. This is basically used to match your internal inventory with the e-commerce data that is collected on our servers. Now, after product SKU, you can also choose to capture product category. For example, there could be on your website multiple categories of products. You can capture category toys, product name robot, transaction ID 1234, SKU could be 4732. So this is like an example of the item level data that you can capture. Now, after category, we have price and quantity as well. So if you see, the total revenue was captured at the transaction level that we saw in the previous slide. But at the item level, we capture the individual price of the product and not the total revenue or shipping or tax that comes along with it. After price, we have quantity, which is basically if someone ends up buying 5 of the same products, you might want to capture how many of each of these products are being captured. So we have 6 variables that you can start with capturing using the e-commerce tracking code, and 2 of them are compulsorily at the item level. Now that we've seen how to enable e-commerce tracking in the analytics account and how to install and what values have to be passed to that code so that you can make meaning of that information that you capture in the analytics account, let us take a look at what all reports are there under e-commerce tracking and how can you utilize each of these e-commerce reports. Now, primarily there are 5 major reports in e-commerce tracking, which is e-commerce overview, product performance report, sales performance report, transaction report, and time to purchase report. We'll go through each of these reports in detail, and I'll show you a demo as well. So in the overview, you get a summary of overall conversion rates, revenue, average order value, and overall metrics. Under product performance, it's product specific, what revenue and quantity and average price comes from each of these products. Sales performance would be revenue that gets generated by date, today, tomorrow, day before yesterday. What was the total revenue that got generated on my website? Transaction report are not product based, but transaction ID based. So ID 1234, for example, what was the revenue that was generated? What was the tax, shipping, quantity by each transaction ID? Then we also have time to purchase reports, which are very important reports because there you can see how many days does it take for people in general to keep coming back to your website and ultimately make a transaction, or how many sessions does it take for people to keep coming back to your website and to do a transaction. So let us just take a look at the demo of how these reports look like. So to access e-commerce reports, I will go to the conversions main section on my website that you can see here. Under conversions, you can see a separate subsection called e-commerce. Opening the overview e-commerce report first. So for the date range that I've selected, which is the past 30 days, You can see day-wise what has been the revenue and e-commerce conversion rate in the graph in the top section of the report. After that, you have the total revenue in the past 30 days, the average e-commerce conversion rate, total transactions, and the average order value. You also have how many campaigns led to transactions, how many internal promotions led to transactions, etc. This we'll cover in the later section when we are doing enhanced e-commerce. In terms of top sellers, you can see which products sold the most, which product category sold the most, and which brands sold the most as well. So this is the overview of the e-commerce report. Now, after overview, let us just check product performance reports. Now, you can see against the name of each of your products, what was the revenue that they generated in the past 30 days or whatever date range that you've selected on the top right section of your account. How many unique purchases were done? What was the total quantity that was purchased? Average price of this product when it was sold? Average quantity? Whether there was a refund amount? After this, we have two extremely important columns here, which is cart to detail rate and buy to detail rate. Now, I'll just explain what these two columns mean in the product performance report. Now, cart to detail rate means what percentage of the products are added to cart after they've been viewed by users. So if out of 10 people that view your products, 5 of them ending up adding products to cart, our cart to detail rate becomes 50%. Buy to detail rate, on the other hand, is how many people end up buying a product on your website after they viewed it. So just taking the same example again, out of 10 people, 5 added it to cart. So that was 50% cart to detail. But out of those 10 people, only 1 ended up buying the product in the end. So buy to detail rate becomes 10%. So this is the overview of the product performance report. Now let us go to sales performance report. Now, in the sales performance report, as I had said earlier, instead of seeing product level data, you see transaction level data. And if you remember, item level data and transaction level data is what we had segregated the codes into initially as well. So the two major reports are also segregated in terms of transaction level data and item level data. Here, for each of the transaction IDs that got triggered on your website, you have how much revenue was contributed by that transaction ID, whether a tax was applied or not, how much shipping was charged on that transaction ID, whether there was a refund amount, and what quantity of products was bought in each transaction ID. So similar report to product performance, but here we see data by transaction level instead of product level. So these are, if you see, the 3 most important reports for e-commerce tracking. Under e-commerce tracking, there's a 4th report called product list report. Now assume that you have a website where you have at least 10 lists of products. Now just to define what a list is, a list would be a collection of products. Any set of products can be defined as being in a list. So in our example, men's clothing can be a list and so can women's clothing be. And in your code, you can define a value that says product list as men or product list as women. And here you can see how each of those group of products are performing. So for each of those lists, how many products were viewed in the list? How many products were clicked in the list? What is the CTR of the product list? Then how many of the products from that list were added to cart? How many went up to checkouts? And what were the unique purchase quantities and revenue that got generated from each of those product lists? So just to summarize the reports, the most important reports that you should look at are overview, product performance, sales performance, and product list performance. This is an example of how any e-commerce website looks. And the data that you can capture based on what we've discussed is the name of the product, the item ID, the price, the price in euros or USD. If I have an option of adding multiple quantities, you can pick up quantities as well. So this is how page looks at in your front end on your website, and on the back end, these are the data points that get captured when you implement that code of e-commerce tracking. Okay. So what are the most important learnings from the data that we just saw? So we covered multiple reports, at least 4 reports and various columns in each reports. What all can you understand from these reports? Now, which products sell well and what is suited for your customer base more? So that is something that e-commerce reports tell you. Revenue per transaction and the number of products per transaction, that is what e-commerce reports tell you. Now, for example, if people are just buying a single product and not multiple products per transaction, what we suggest is you can have discounts on bulk orders where people order at least 2 to 3 items. That could give you a better return on investment than people just ordering single items per transaction. So revenue per transaction and number of products per transaction is what you can track from e-commerce tracking. Like I said, days to transaction and sessions to transaction reports can tell you how long in terms of time and sessions does it take customers to make decisions to purchase. If customers keep coming back, if customers have to at least come back to your website, for example, for 10 minutes or 10 minutes each time, and customers take 5 visits on an average to buy something on your website, then you might have want to redesign the website in a way that makes it easier to find things that people are looking for and makes it easier to ultimately convert on your website. So this is also what you can analyze. If most people take more amount of time and more number of sessions to purchase, you might think of a website redesign to make it easier, right? So that was the overview of e-commerce tracking in general. So we covered what kind of data can you capture: product level data and transaction level data, and under each of them, what are the values or data points that you can capture and how can you analyze this data. So that's the first section. Now coming to the next section, which is the most powerful feature that Google Analytics has right now for anyone that is into online sales or is selling a product or a service on the website, which is called enhanced e-commerce tracking. As the name suggests, it is based on e-commerce tracking. The base remains the same, but we have certain features that really make it useful, and the kind of data that you can track is what we'll cover in the next section. So what all can you check in enhanced e-commerce tracking? How do we understand and troubleshoot what data do we have, and how do we visualize it? So coming to the first aspect of enhanced e-commerce behavior, we saw that we could capture, okay, what were the products that were being sold, right? And for each transaction, how many products, what was the total revenue, etc. So that was one aspect. In enhanced e-commerce, we primarily analyze user behavior when it comes to online shopping on your website. So one of the first important reports that you can check here is shopping and purchasing behavior. So it tells you product page views, how many people are adding and removing products from shopping carts, what are the initiated, abandoned, completed transactions. So we'll understand this better by looking at this demo. So going back to the conversions section and the e-commerce subsection in Google Analytics, we will open the shopping analysis reports. So we have 2 shopping analysis reports. Firstly, we'll start with shopping behavior analysis report. Now, in the demo, let me open some data here, opening the shopping behavior analysis report. Now here you see kind of a funnel visualization, and I'll explain what this is. But this basically defines the behavior of people when it comes to shopping on your website. So let's take a look at this funnel. You have the first column is about all sessions. These are all the people that come to your website. So here in our case, in the date range that we've set here, which is the last 30 days, this website shows that 74,821 sessions have come in total. However, 60,532, which is almost 81% of the people, showed no shopping activity, which means that they did not even view a product, let alone add it to cart or head till checkout or ultimately purchase. So they did not have any shopping activity. They came to the website probably, and they went around a few pages. They did not open a single product and left the website. So a huge percentage of people are not able to find the products that they are looking for. Now, the people that went ahead, out of those, assuming that some 13,000 people went ahead, out of those people, again, 56% of the people did not have cart to addition. So 13,000 people had product views, but most of them, which is 56%, did not add those products to cart. So the products that they viewed were not added to cart. Now, following the funnel further that you can see here, out of those people that went ahead were the people who added a product to cart, but 54% of them abandoned the cart after adding a product to it. So they did not ultimately go to the checkout process. From the cart, they've abandoned their session. Now, again, going further into the funnel, after adding a product to cart, right, 3,377 people have come to the checkout step. This checkout step could have multiple steps in them, where someone, first checkout step could be login, second could be put in your address and contact details. The third checkout step could be a final review of your order before finally paying for it. So a cumulative number is shown with respect to all checkout steps that you have. And if you see here for this website, almost 40% of the people are also abandoning the website from the checkout step. So they've added it to cart. They are on the checkout step where they're supposed to fill in details, but they're abandoning from that step. Now, of the people that do not abandon, you see that a set of people ultimately end up transacting on the website. So this is an entire funnel of behavior, starting from website visit to product view to add to cart to checkout and then finally transacting. So if you see, it's an extremely important report in terms of giving you insights into what is working and what is not working. Now, if you come down, you can see that the same data is presented in a table as well, where, for example, you can further add a dimension and see how data is with respect to that dimension. So, for example, here we have a user type dimension. It's telling us whether a new visitor or a returning visitor come to our website in terms of all sessions, and how do each of these user types behave in terms of product views, add to cart, checkout, and transactions. So if I see for this website, a returning visitor is behaving much more ideally for the business owners, because the ultimate transactions rate are higher. However, you can also see that more returning visitors abandon from the checkout step as compared to new visitors. So these are the insights that you can use to see what is working on your website and what is not working on your website. All right. Now, this is the shopping behavior analysis report. The next report that we'll see will tie to the fact that, like I had mentioned, your checkout step could have multiple steps in them. First step could be please log into your account or check out as guest. That could be one step. Second could be add your address. Third could be finally review your cart or your entire order before paying for it. So the checkout behavior analysis is a breakdown of the checkout steps. Now, in this website, there are 3 checkout steps that have been defined, which is entering billing and shipping details, entering payment details. This could be your card details. This could be the method of payment. So in India, we have net banking, debit cards, credit cards, cash on delivery. This could be deciding which payment method that he wants to pay with. Then finally reviewing the order, and then final transaction. The funnel works in the exact same way as the shopping behavior analysis report. You see drop-offs at each level and see what percentage of people are dropping off. The table below is also similar as the shopping behavior analysis report, where you can, instead of user type, for example, I can put in source and medium, and it exactly tells me that, for example, when people come in from Google organic, right, maximum drop-offs will happen at the payment step, compared to when people come from Google CPC, we have really high drop-offs at the review step as well. So this is the kind of analysis that you can do at the in the checkout behavior analysis report. So again, the same screenshot of the shopping behavior analysis report. These are the learnings that we discussed. I will just quickly go over them because they are extremely important in case you want to tweak something in terms of your online behavior, so that you get as many transactions as possible. If you have a lot of no shopping activity, which means you can remarket to those people who came to your website because they were interested but could not decide on a product and did not view any product. People who viewed a product but did not add to cart, you can see how product pages can be redesigned so that and call to action and the buttons are neat and clean, so that it encourages the user to add that product to cart. Now, after adding a product to cart, if he's abandoned a cart, you can see what all can you do to make people not abandon it. For example, a lot of e-commerce websites have something called wish lists that keep a product in the cart, and the user wants to know if the product price falls, get a notification, and rebuy the product from the same cart. So that is something that you can do. People who add to cart but abandon at the checkout, you can offer promotions to checkout abandoners. For example, people who came to the checkout step but didn't pay, you can market promo codes to them so that they come back to the website, use those promo codes, and finally check out to make a purchase. After people have made a purchase, you know that they've been interested in your product, they've liked it, they've bought it. You can re-engage them with remarketing campaigns because to increase loyalty to your brand. So this is something that you can do for each step in the shopping behavior analysis. We've discussed what checkout behavior analysis is, the same funnel for the checkout steps. Okay. Now, this is a sample product page, similar to one of the product pages that we were seeing earlier. It has name, item, it has a design where it tells you what exactly it includes. It has a different colored call out in terms of what the sale price is right now and what has it dropped from, and what is the overall price in terms of exchange rates, etc. So here people are trying to, for example, if I have to solve the problem of people not adding my products to cart, I can have sales and promotions on the product page, so it encourages people to go and add this product to cart. Okay. Now we've covered product performance report, and we've also covered sales performance report. So on the front end, this is how the sales performance report looks like. Like we mentioned, the sales performance report is transaction based, so there could be multiple products here. Here you can see the name of the 2 products on the website, their quantity, their cost per unit, totals, etc. before someone checks out. So this is again emphasizing on how the transaction level data looks on your website, and we have already seen how it looks in the Google Analytics account. Sales performance report, transaction IDs, and revenue, tax, shipping, refund, and quantity for those transaction IDs. Okay. We saw product list reports. I will just open it again for reference. Basically, you can see the performance of each categorization or each list that you define on your website. Now, what can product list reports be used for? You can make a list of all the catalog pages. So, for example, I have a menu, and under the drop down, I have 10 catalog pages. I can make a list out of each of those pages so I can see a performance of those pages. You can define a list as a cross-sell block. If you have a cross-sell block of products on your website, that could be a list. An upsell block could be a list. Related product blocks. So a lot of e-commerce websites, when you go to the product page and scroll to the bottom of the page, you can see a lot of related products there. That could be defined as a list. Even the search results pages can be defined as a list. So if I search for men's shoes on your website and it throws a collection of products to the user, that particular collection of products can also be defined as a list. And then ultimately you can see the performance of each of these lists in terms of how many products are being viewed, how many products are being clicked on, how many products are being ultimately purchased. So that's with the usage of product list reports. So just to again emphasize on how product lists would show on your front end, we can see at least 7-8 banners here in the carousel. Each of these clicks will lead to a collection of products. So each of these carousel images can be a product list defined in your code. YouTube kids bags look like 3 categories. When I click on either of them, it will lead me to a collection of products, and each of those products can be aggregated under a product list. So in the product list report, you can see how is YouTube performing with respect to kids and how is kids performing with respect to bags. So different lists comparing with each other. This is how it looks like. We saw that in the demo already. All right. Now that we've covered under e-commerce tracking product reports, sales reports, we've covered shopping behavior, we've covered checkout behavior, and we've also seen the performance of lists on a website. Now we come to the marketing section of enhanced e-commerce. This is what tells you what is working well in terms of my marketing. So if I show you a demo, you see that apart from shopping analysis, you have a marketing subsection as well under conversions. So I will open the marketing subsection, and we'll discuss the first report, which would be the internal promotions report. Now, on your website, you have multiple banners or sections that are internal promotions, which mean there could be a section that says 35% off on shoes. There could be another section that says 50% off on shirts or skirts. These are internal promotions that you have defined on your website. Using enhanced e-commerce codes, you can exactly see which of these promotions were viewed, which of these promotions were clicked on, and what is the click-through rate on the website with respect to these promotions. So let me just open the internal promotions report. Under marketing, like I said, we go to the internal promotions report. And here the website has defined promotions for Android brand, apparel, backpacks, drinkware, Google brand t-shirts, office women t-shirts, and YouTube branding. These are the internal promotions that have been defined on the website. Now for each of these promotions, how many times have these promotions been viewed is what you can see. How many times clicks have happened on these promotions is what you can see. What is the overall CTR of these promotions? Ultimately, how many of these clicks lead to a transaction? So how many of drinkware products ultimately got bought after the promotion got clicked? And what was the overall revenue from these promotions? So internal promotions, whatever you define as internal promotion as a banner or a discount section on your website, you can track performance of each of those sections and compare whether my discount on apparel is working better or whether my discount on t-shirts is working better, for example, or office wear. So just to show how would this look on the front end of the website, any sale, discount on shoes, socks, etc. can be classified in the code as an internal promotion, and its performance can be measured. Like we just saw, this is exactly how an internal promotions report looks like. Okay. Now, after internal promotions, let's jump over to order coupon reports. So a lot of you advertisers or business owners like to issue coupons, uh, discount coupons to their users based on their loyalty, the time, the number of transactions they've made in the past, or if there's a festival, you issue order coupons. Now, would you not want to know how these order coupons are working on your website? So we have in enhanced e-commerce functionality to track the performance of each of these order coupons as well. Now, what are the important metrics that you can track? What is the revenue that gets generated from these order coupons? So $10,000 got generated ultimately when my coupons were applied. Compared to coupon B, where only $5,000 of revenue got generated. Total number of transactions that happen and use that coupon code and the average value of these transactions are the important data points that you can look at. So just to take a demo, let me just open the order coupons report. So you have to define a coupon code in the code, a coupon value, and those values get tracked and their revenue, transaction, and average order value is being shown. Now these values could be anything that you define and you have given to the user on your website, or a loyal user that has already purchased 10 times on your website. You decide to give him a coupon code that says order 50, which basically gives him a 50% discount. So here you can have order 50 and see how many times this coupon has been used, transactions, value, revenue, etc. So an extremely important report to track order level coupons. You can see here that this particular store at the checkout step has given the option to apply a coupon code at the order level. So this is the entire order. This is not an individual product. And so this becomes an order coupon code. After submitting, he gets X percentage of discount and he proceeds with making the payment. Again, this is what exactly it looks like. Okay. Now, apart from order coupon reports, we also have product coupon reports. Now, what is the difference? The difference is extremely basic. These coupon codes can be applied at the product level, so, and not at the order level. So for example, you have a discount on black hats on your website, only black hats, and this coupon is product specific and not order specific at all. So if I buy a black hat and a white hat, I cannot apply this coupon at the order level. I can only apply this coupon at the product level, which is when I'm only buying black hats. So you can measure the performance of product coupons as well. Similar to order coupon reports, you can see revenue, unique purchases and product revenue per purchase for these coupons. So just let's take a look at the demo of this report. Right under the order coupon report is where you find the product coupon report. Here, for privacy purposes, this website has not, because this is a demo account, we have not provided the product coupon code for misuse. But if you have a coupon code, you can see the value here. What is the total revenue that was generated once this product coupon code was used? number of unique purchases that happened, and product revenue per purchased when this code was applied. So very similar to the order coupon code, only difference being it is applied at the product level and cannot be applied at the order level. So you can track these coupons as well. This is how it looks like. We just saw that. Okay. Now, so we've covered product reports, sales reports. We've seen behavior analysis. We've done 2 reports under marketing, which are product coupons and order coupons. Now, the third report under this subsection would be affiliate reports. A lot of e-commerce websites run affiliate programs, where people can get referred from affiliate websites and ultimately make a purchase of your product. Now, enhanced e-commerce, being one of the most powerful tools that we have in Google Analytics, gives you the opportunity to measure performance of affiliate marketing as well. How are your affiliate sites performing? Similar, you define the affiliate code on a website. When a transaction happens and it has come via an affiliate site, this affiliate code gets supplied to the server, and we see what is the revenue, transactions, and average order value that got generated from these affiliate reports. So again, taking a look at the demo report, under product coupon in the marketing section, opening affiliate codes, and whatever affiliation you've defined here, against that, how much revenue comes from that affiliate site, what are the transactions that have happened from that affiliate site, and what is the average value that comes in when someone buys your product on an affiliate website. So under marketing, we have promotions, coupons, and affiliate codes that can be tracked, and performance can be measured against them. This is how it exactly looks like. All right. We saw a breakdown in detail of each of the reports that come under e-commerce data and enhanced e-commerce data. In our discussion prior to this, we did discuss how can you analyze e-commerce data, etc. But now we'll kind of take a look at it in detail, and an important section, because this tells you what to do with all the data that you've collected and how can you make your online business perform much better. All right. Going back to the table that we saw under the behavior analysis reports, the shopping behavior analysis reports and the checkout behavior analysis reports. Use all the secondary dimension device types to see how performance is, and if there's something that you can catch with respect to a change that needs to be made. So here we can see as an example, under device category type, you see that tablet users start checkout twice as often and complete purchase 57% more than the total number of users that come. So when users come from a tablet, they enter the checkout step 2 times more, and there is 57% more overall conversion rate for tablet users. So you can remarket to these people and capture them again, remarket specifically, for example, on tablets, or if it's mobiles, you can remarket specifically just for mobiles if you see that this data point has much better performance when compared to the other data points. Just to note, give more importance to overall transactions, then to checkout, then to add to cart and product views. So just to explain that further, remarketing to people who start checkout more often is more important than remarketing to people who add to cart more often, because these people have already completed the add to cart step, and that's why they're on the checkout step. So analyze data with respect to transactions and then checkout, then add to cart, and then product views. Just continuing the same example, if I see this data set here, a lot of mobile users are starting the checkout process, but completion of purchase is 40% less compared to overall users. If you see, only less than 1% of the people end up purchasing on a mobile phone, which means that there could be a significant problem with the entire checkout process on your mobile. Probably they don't find the right payment gateway. They get confused as to where do I add the billing address or where do I add the shipping address. Can I check out as a guest or not? So all these reasons could be why people, when they start a checkout step and checkout step more often than and then desktops or tablets, still don't end up buying. Their ultimate conversion rates are much lower when compared to desktops and tablets. So you can analyze which step is causing a problem on which platform as well. Okay. You can create segments by shopping stage and use information in other reports to analyze further. Giving you an example, I create a segment of all the people or all the sessions that had an abandoned checkout process. So if 100 people come, 30 of them enter the checkout process but abandon it, I will make a segment of all these sessions and then apply these segments on other reports. Firstly, to see, for example, I go to the source medium report and see how is source medium performing with respect to checkout abandonment. Do people abandon checkout more when they come from Facebook, when they come from Google, when they come from Google AdWords? So this is the kind of analysis that you can do. Even more importantly, you can use this segment of people or sessions to create remarketing lists. So like we discussed, gather a list of sessions and people who abandoned your checkout process and show tailor-made ads to those people. So that is very important because they were so close to making a purchase that, for example, all they needed to do was select a payment step, but they abandoned. So remarketing to them has a much higher chance of getting them back and letting them do that purchase again. So you can create segments of each of these steps and remarket to those people as well. Okay. Product life cycle on your website, and an extremely important concept. And I'll just explain this entire thing to you. If you open the product performance report, like we can see here, the first column says product list views. So this tells you which products are getting most amount of views, which are my most popular products. But you can comparatively also see which of those products are most frequently abandoned in cart, and then out of the entire thing, which of them are converting and how are they converting? Are they converting well? Are they not converting well? So for example, if a pack of pens has the most number of views on your website, it's a popular product, but it also converts the least. So when people open the product page, is there something that does not let them, is a piece of information missing? Was the expectation setting not done right on the product page or before they came to the product page? So all of this you can understand with respect to views, ads, removes, checkouts, how many of them were ultimately bought, how many of them were sent to cart, etc. So you can understand the full life cycle of a product purchase using e-commerce and enhanced e-commerce data. Okay. Now, in the product performance report, we saw that you could see data with respect to product names. So black t-shirt, gray t-shirt, white t-shirt, how many times it was added, how many times it was removed, what was the overall conversion rate, etc. You can also supply these values to your code, which is product category, product brand, and product variant. You also have custom product dimensions. So you can define anything that you want to supply to Google Analytics in terms of custom dimension. So for example, instead of looking at gray t-shirt, black t-shirt, and white t-shirt, I would want to review data by brands of t-shirts, regardless of what color they are. So brand A versus brand B versus brand C, which brand has more product ads and which brand has more removals, which brand has more overall conversion rates. So not just product names, by product category, product brand, product variant, and custom dimensions. These dimensions, category, brand, variant, can be anything that you define in the code. So just to give you an example, if I open a black t-shirt product, when the analytics and then the e-commerce enhanced e-commerce code fires, the data that it sends to the server is, this is the name of the product, but it falls under this category, this brand, and this variant. So that when you open reports, you can categorize these reports by category, brand, and variant as well. So extremely important to do, to zoom out and do analysis in terms of not names, but also categories, brands, and variants. You can understand how different channels drive engagement. Back to the table below the behavior reports, where for each step you can put a source, or I would recommend putting both source and medium, so that you have an exact idea of what traffic is coming from where and how does that traffic behave. So if your referral traffic is has more product views but less transactions compared to your Google CPC traffic, which has much higher number of transactions, what you can consider is, where is this referral traffic coming from? What is the expectation setting that is there on that referral network? And why do people, even though they visit more, visit my website more, but buy less? So this is the kind of understanding that there could be with respect to different channels as well for the data that you get. Okay. Now, we are in the final section of this session. Just a few more tips on what all can you analyze and how can it make your online business better. Like we'd seen the product list reports, this is a visual representation of them. So for example, you can see that on this store there is an X product list on top of a Y product list. So both of them contain the same products, but if you see, the difference is that the products have been reordered. You first are showing X kind of products and then showing Y kind of products, and vice versa in the other list. Product list reports will tell you which of the lists are performing better, and hence you can say which orders are performing better. Should I show this kind of products before that kind of products, and so on. So how do you use that? You can rearrange your digital shelf to maximize performance. So this is your digital shelf where you've shown a list of products one after the other. You can rearrange to see which combination is working the best. So with this analysis section, we come to the end of e-commerce and enhanced e-commerce reporting for Google Analytics. I hope you liked the session and it was informating, and you will now use this information to implement these features on your website so that you can get as much as possible from Google Analytics. We'll move on to the question and answer session. We have a few questions that were asked in the live comment section. So I'll just pick them one by one and we'll just go through them. Okay, first question is around code implementation. That's a very good question. It's along these lines. Is the item and transaction level data to be incorporated in the GA tracking code? So as we all know, we have a Google Analytics standard code, which is the universal code, which has the UAID of your website or your property. You use that code and implement it first. Now, the item and transaction level code is separate from that. So it comes on, apart from the standard code, you have to implement item and transaction level code separately. In our follow-up, we'll be sending you this presentation, which will have all the important links for code implementations as well. All you need to do is forward those links to your web developer, and he will exactly understand how this code implementation needs to be done. So yes, item and transaction level code have to be separated out from the original Universal Analytics code. the second question is, what is the difference between transaction ID and products? Now, just to explain something that we covered in the initial slides, we have two sections of the code, a transaction code and the item code. We have transaction IDs in both codes. The reason is that in the transaction level code, you collect data for the entire order, which means it could have multiple products. In the product level code, you collect data individually for these products. So transaction A could have product X and product Y. So in code, we have transaction A, product X, and the rest of the code, and another section of the code which is transaction X, transaction A, product Y, and then the rest of the code. So the difference is that the transaction ID remains the same in both sections of the code, but it has to be mentioned in the product code as well. So it's repeated across both codes. The third question is, we are implementing code using Google Tag Manager. Would there be any problem with that? Absolutely not. Google Tag Manager is a new product that Google came up with to make managing all these tags much easier. So I would recommend everyone to be using Google Tag Manager, because implementation of codes and changing something in the code, etc., becomes much easier, because you don't have to change a lot of code over and over again. So Google Tag Manager is recommended to implement e-commerce or even enhanced e-commerce tracking. Now, okay. The next question is how to have an aggregated report on sales revenue from different advertising channels such as AdWords and Facebook. So I'll just quickly show a demo for the same. Now, if I open the sales performance report here, you can see all transactions. Here under secondary dimension, you can add your sources or source mediums. If I'm adding a source medium secondary dimension, it tells me which of these source mediums did the transaction come from. To find an aggregated view, what you can do is instead go to the acquisition reports. Under all traffic, let us see channels, for example. And here you see an aggregated view. So across various channels such as organic search, direct, social, which will have Facebook, referral, paid search, affiliates, display, what are the transactions and revenue that got generated as from each of these channels. So this is an aggregated channel report that you can use on Google Analytics. Now, the next question is, do we get data from people on the checkout process on GA to market them through remarketing? Absolutely. Each of the processes, so I'll just quickly show you the reports again. For example, if I'm using e-commerce, shopping analysis, shopping behavior analysis, each of these steps can be converted to a segment and imported into remarketing. So I can have a list of people who were at the checkout step but abandoned. I can have a list of people who viewed a product but did not add to cart. So yes, each of these lists can be made in remarketing and you can serve ads to them. Can we capture data as to who those people were? With respect to, can we capture any personally identifiable information with respect to email ID or IP address, etc.? No, but a collection of lists can be made which can be used for remarketing. So yes, you can use these lists for remarketing. I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining this session. This was an advanced analytics session, and I hope this was informative and it will help you go back, implement these features, and get the most out of analytics. Please do watch out for our upcoming sessions. And that is it from me today. This is Aditya, and have a nice day. Bye.